What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Saturday night edition, post Roadblock, March 12th, 2016. I am joined by Rob McCarron. Rob, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So, Rob, we had Roadblock, no real surprises, no changes, and you get to wear a hat.
What a shock. What a shock. There were no surprises and no real changes.
You get to wear a hat that you may end up actually eating at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I got to spend some quality time with the hat. In a couple of months, I may not have it, but you never know. But yeah, this was, I'm not trying to be, oh, I told you so guy. This is exactly what I thought it would be. The only surprise to me on this show was Dean Ambrose losing cleanly. I did not expect that. So that was a little bit of a surprise.
Sort of cleanly. And we'll start with that, actually. We'll work backwards in order of importance. Triple H beat Dean Ambrose. I thought this match started out way too slow. Like, I thought the spot with Ambrose grabbing his nose was kind of funny. That was cool. But this was really reminiscent of that dark 2003 Triple H championship period, that type of pace to start off. Obviously picked up and turned into something really, really fun towards the end. But Dean Ambrose did pin Triple H. He just had his feet underneath the ropes. Do you see that as any saving grace for Dean Ambrose? Any salvage? Like he can say, I pinned the champion as he heads to face Brock Lesnar?
No, because he didn't. And, I don't even put this in the aspect of being a visual pin. You'll often see sometimes, like if a ref gets knocked out and you have him down 1, 2, 3, for the visual pin, this wasn't really that to me. I mean, Dean Ambrose did not pin Triple H within the rules. So, it's an interesting strategy. They tried to go for something new. They tried to go for something that would shock the crowd, as well as making Dean Ambrose look like he could legitimately beat Triple H. But at the end of the day, Dean Ambrose couldn't beat Triple H. Triple H won within the rules. So this was just a Triple H victory. So yeah, this was a clean finish. This was a clean Triple H coming out.
I think it was a clean finish, but it does give Dean Ambrose at least some semblance of he had the champ's shoulders down for 3 counts. It's just, it was within the rules by far. I mean, I'm not saying it was a cheap win or anything like that. It's just
right.
He did get the guy down for 3, and that I think that was needed if you're heading into a program with Brock Lesnar.
I think what would have been needed is not even having this match whatsoever. But yeah, we had it. It was really good. I liked it. I went over 20 minutes, which I wasn't expecting either. I expected a quick 12 to 15 minute title match there and ending in some type of schmaz, whether it be Brock Lesnar coming in to fight Dean, whether it be Roman Reigns coming back. No Roman Reigns, so that was one failing prediction that I made. No Roman Reigns coming back on the show. So they are going to save it for a Raw down the line when quite a few more people are going to be watching. It looked like this one had a pretty good turnout. I mean, I'm sure you saw on your Twitter feed, I saw on mine at Shake Them Ropes, there were a lot of people watching the show, the regulars, as well as some others who may not watch every WWE event. So it got a pretty good response. And
I actually had quite a few people over at my house to watch this. And generally I have 0 people over because the WWE Network has effectively rendered like viewing parties kind of obsolete because they cost $10.
Right. And here it was a Saturday. So you can kind of have a viewing party just because it's like a Saturday to get together with people and, the WWE Network is on. So in that way, it kind of probably helped. And you're one example of that.
I'll work this order basically in order of importance. That's how we'll do it.
Okay.
Because needless to say, Sami Zayn versus Stardust was not that important. We had Brock Lesnar taking on Luke Harper. It was kind of a swerve, which it was booked as it was originally set to be Luke Harper all along. Mm-hmm. Got swerved at the last minute. I thought this was fine for what it was. Brock Lesnar is in this role to sell tickets and to work short matches and to win.
Yeah.
And he did that. And Luke Harper looked good in losing, even in a brief period.
He looked great, and it's always fun to see Brock Lesnar tossing around guys who are bigger than he is, because Luke Harper is bigger than he is. So it was a fun, way to watch that. Bray Wyatt really never got in there. Brock Lesnar never touched Bray Wyatt. So whether they're saving that for a future program or not, I know I had a lot of people on Twitter saying that they thought Brock Lesnar was going to wrestle Bray Wyatt anyway at WrestleMania now, and that Dean would somehow get in the main event title picture because it made no sense otherwise. And they could be saving Brock for Bray somewhere down the line, but
I just don't think it makes sense to change a WrestleMania and advertise WrestleMania match.
Right, exactly. And this is why I was saying this show is more of a glorified house show. They used the house show set tonight, so it was the house show set, not the regular WWE TV set like they did at Elimination Chamber. So it was a glorified house show, not really to be in canon of WWE storyline. And nothing that happened tonight is indicative of anything in WWE. Bray Wyatt doing this is not indicative that Brock Lesnar is going to be wrestling Bray Wyatt in the future. I really don't think it is. The main event title match between Triple H and Dean isn't indicative of what they're going to do with Dean Ambrose in the world title picture. I mean, we're going to go to Raw on Monday, and while they'll probably mention Triple H defeated Dean Ambrose for the title, we're going to get Dean going right away with Brock Lesnar. We're going to get Triple H back focusing on Roman Reigns. And what happened tonight will relatively be, not meaningless per se, but it won't matter come Monday.
Yeah, I agree. Triple H, like I said, that the beginning of that match was a little too slow paced for me. I thought the Brock Lesnar, and I'm not saying that I don't like fast paced matches. It was a reminder of that rough 2003 period. But meanwhile, I thought the Lesnar match was paced perfectly. Luke Harper made him step it up a little bit as far as pace and things like that. I thought Luke Harper ended up looking good in defeat. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're going to have to do Lesnar Wyatt at some point, but it's not going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah, I would think they do it at some point, whether it's maybe Brock Lesnar's first TV match in a while. Whether they wait for SummerSlam, maybe somehow, but
that would be a good Raw main event to hype up.
Absolutely,
Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt with Bray Wyatt getting some build before that happens. I don't think it should be on the way to WrestleMania or anything, but maybe after that you build up. Hey, Brock Lesnar is going to be fighting in the main event. Even do it for a few weeks and have Bray cut promos, and you can have a big match like that on a Raw when you need that desperately in that third hour that always sinks.
Yeah, no, I would, if it's getting to the point in time now where Brock Lesnar wrestling on Raw is probably the thing to do, maybe announced ahead of time, build up some ratings. And as long as his deal doesn't prohibit that he wrestles on TV, and I really don't think it would, then he should probably wrestle on Raw, maybe the Raw after WrestleMania, maybe a couple of weeks afterwards. So a Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar Raw match might be the way to go.
I agree. So we had a match in which I guess I would consider this one of the more important matches because it was kind of up in the air who might win, at least between you and I. But you get to wear your hat because the Revival beat Enzo and Cass in what I thought was a fantastic match.
It was great.
It showed that both of these teams are ready despite their size, whatever. People say that the Revival might be a little too small. I was at the Arnold Classic and they were as big as it's crazy to think that the smallest pro wrestlers are as big as some of the bigger, just normal humans. These two teams had a great match. After seeing this, I was more on board with seeing Enzo and Cass versus American Alpha because I see what Enzo and Cass can do in the ring, and they weren't being carried by any means. They had some great dance partners. This was a fantastic match.
It's been excellent. I tweeted out that the Revival, some people think the Revival are boring. Some people don't want to just give them a chance, maybe because of their size, but they've probably been in 3 of the top 5 tag team matches on WWE TV this year. Not even on TV. I mean, when I went to NXT Indy, their match with American Alpha, best of 3 falls, was absolutely fantastic, getting rave reviews from the people there. The Revival, really good. Enzo and Cass, I believe this was their swan song for NXT, and they're probably going to go up on that Raw after WrestleMania. To the main roster. But yeah, we're getting the Revival American Alpha one-on-one at NXT Dallas, and that's probably the way to go. I think that was the way to go from the beginning. It's the way to go for American Alpha. While Enzo and Cass would have been really good in that match or really fun to see, they just didn't need to do it. So here we are, and Enzo and Cass had a great performance, maybe their best performance in a long, long time, and it's perfect timing because a good WWE audience saw them.
And they had a good WWE audience in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And almost all of them knew who Enzo and Cass were.
Yeah.
Knew their catchphrases. knew what they were going to say, and that is important because we hear it a lot that people don't know these NXT guys when they're coming up. These people knew who Enzo and Cass were, and it wasn't like a smattering of how you doing. It was a lot of them.
No, they were ready for him, and they were excited to see him. And it was it's a good sign because yes, you go on to, and that's why if they debut on the Raw after WrestleMania, maybe they debut Monday night, and go into the WrestleMania tag title picture somehow. If they debuted in front of a big Raw crowd, they're going to know who they are. It's going to get them over right away. And not in the Fandango type where they're into like the dancing or anything. They're actually going to like Enzo and Cass. I think they got the personality to win a crowd over and keep them on their side. I think they're more than just an entrance, which has been the worry for a long time, that it would just be all entrance.
Yeah, these guys, they've stepped it up so much from where I thought that Enzo was kind of a liability about a year or so ago. And Cass was the better guy in the ring, I thought, and he'd been a little more dedicated, had a little more time in the ring because Enzo was hurt, but I'm ready for these guys in WWE. But here's my worry. We see this act once every 2 or 3 weeks in NXT. If you see it twice a week in WWE, it might start to wear thin.
You would think they're not going to be able to do the entrance 2 times a week, right? Like on Raw and SmackDown. They're going to have to find some creative ways that gets them out of doing the entrance, whether it's run-ins certain weeks, whether it's the jobber entrance even, what people call the jobber entrance, where they're just already in the ring and they just do the entrance for the live crowd. They're going to have to find some different ways. Or,
they do the second half, at least for the TV. Because, that would be fine if they had them already in the ring and they had a little something there. That way people don't hear the opening thing over and over and over again.
Right. And we'll see how long it'll last. Maybe they do it over and over for a year. Maybe they end up going heel at some point. They don't do the entrance as part of their heel act. We had Road Dogg and Billy Gunn doing this similar entrance week in and week out for about a year on television during the Attitude Era. So it's been done before. How long it gets over is going to be a thing. Imagine 10 years from now, Sean. Imagine 10 years from now when Enzo and Cass make their way back to WWE after being a popular tag team. And now it's the nostalgic Enzo and Cass doing their entrance. And we all go gaga for it. And they win the tag team titles. And then one of them becomes a road agent. And the other becomes an NXT trainer who fails a steroid test and gets fired. This is going to be fun to watch Enzo and Cass.
Are you drawing comparisons to another team? Is this about...
I am absolutely.
Is this about Techno Team 2000?
Yes, I'm drawing comparisons to
Eric Watts.
A lot of absolutely Robbie Rage and Kenny Chaos of High Voltage. Yes, there's a lot of comparisons.
Well, I don't doubt that there were some steroids there.
Go back and look at a picture of Kenny Chaos. Oh my God.
Go back and look at a picture of anybody in that era. I was watching Battle Cat wrestle, and I was like, man, that dude was on some juice, big time.
Or they ate a lot of turkey bacon.
I don't think it was turkey bacon, my friend.
Okay.
I think they were. Did you ever hear the Kevin Nash story about the Warlord doing steroids?
I don't think I've heard a lot of Kevin Nash stories. I don't think I've heard that one.
He said that the Warlord tried to have Scott Hall inject him with steroids, and I guess either the needle broke off or it just wouldn't go in, and the liquid went everywhere. And I guess Scott Hall just looked at the Warlord and was like, "Dude, I think you're full."
That's the Scott Hall line right there. No, I love the Kevin Nash stories. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, my favorite Kevin Nash story is when he asked for, the finish, whoever it was. I forget who the other line was, but he asked, okay, what's your finish? Oh, it's so-and-so. Great. Can't wait to kick out of it. I love Kevin Nash lines and Kevin Nash stories. It's great. But no, I did not hear the Warlord. That's a great one. You are absolutely right.
If you all ever want to see some really good, a really good segment, watch Kevin Nash on Hannity and Combs. I think Combs was out. He was replaced by some woman. It was during the Benoit steroid. When they were accusing Benoit's situation, the double murder on steroids, and Kevin Nash just annihilated this woman on the subject. Like, they had him on, and they probably thought, big 7 foot tall pro wrestler, he's going to be an idiot. No, they got Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash is a smart dude. If there's one thing you can say about Kevin Nash, I love Kevin Nash, but Kevin Nash was one of the smartest guys that they found in there. Total businessman, which is what you got to be if you want to be successful. So yeah, all power to Kevin Nash. Way to run up those Fox News folks.
Indeed. We had I thought it was an exceptional match. Natalia versus Charlotte. It had its spots, a weird figure four spot, but I thought it was a good match. You didn't like it?
No, so we're going by order of importance, right? So I'm trying to think, okay, what Sean got next for me? Is it going to be the WWE tag team title match? Is it going to be Sami Zayn and Stardust? Is it a Chris Jericho appearance? No, it is Charlotte and Natalia.
Chris Jericho faced a Jack Swagger.
Yes, he did.
Sami Zayn faced Stardust.
Yeah, I didn't realistically expect those two to go front, but I mean, we had
New Day faced the League of Nations. And now I get that the pecking order there, Natalia isn't much higher these days.
She's not. I mean, Charlotte face Natalia. Yeah, but no, the Divas title match, it was good. I really loved their NXT.
I put it at that level, at the next level of importance, because I thought it was just a better match than the other matches.
It was also the second longest one of the night.
Really?
They got a lot of time. They went almost 14 minutes. The main event went 24. But yeah, they were the second longest in ring. It actually went longer than that Sami Zayn Stardust match.
God, it felt like that match went for 2 hours.
It was long. I wonder if we're just not conditioned to seeing Sami Zayn go against guys who we're not huge, superstar fans of, because for the longest time when he was out with his injury, he's wrestling Samoa Joe. He's wrestling Kevin Owens. He's wrestling Neville. There are a lot of guys where it's like, okay, I can watch these guys wrestle for 25 minutes. And now he's in there with Stardust. So you think, okay, it's Stardust. But this was a house show match. This was a classic house show match. It goes 12 minutes. They wrestle. Stardust is in the lead for most of it. I thought it was really good. Just the audience didn't want to watch it.
What, the Sami Zayn match?
The Sami Zayn match. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll talk. Well, I guess we'll talk about that instead. Yeah. Instead of the match that I brought up for us to talk about. We'll talk about Sami Zayn. We were
talking about Sami Zayn and Stardust. Okay. Charlotte and Natalia, I can say the exact same thing, by the way, about Charlotte and Natalia.
I thought that was a good match. I thought the crowd was at least somewhat into it. Ric Flair is just the best at being a heel. God, he's so good. And a lot of people are like, oh, Charlotte doesn't need him. Yeah, she does. She needs him. Anybody would need him. He's in this role right now. Perfect. When she was a babyface, no. He was overshadowing her. So now I don't think so. Natalia just keeps going out and proving that she belongs at that top level. She is fantastic. I don't know what she's missing that they want. Sasha Banks has something that nobody else has, and it's hard. It's an aura that the fans seem to adore. So there's that. But I don't know what Natalia is missing, but hopefully she can get put up towards the top of this division sometime soon again.
Yeah, I don't know if she's ever going to get to that point where the division's going to revolve around her, but you never know.
Do you hate Canadians?
Not Canadians. I just think, she's. I don't even know what to say. I think she's a mid-carder.
That's exactly what a Canadian hater would say.
I think she's a mid-carder for life. Hey, listen to me. I like Canadians. I'm always going to be pro Joey Votto bunting down third base and walking. I'm pro Canadians. Okay. Natalia just screams mid-level act who's good, but never goes to the top of the card.
I'm going to interrupt you and ask you all to ridicule L Frankster 13, who says Natalia needs better ring gear. How dare you?
That if you're going to say anything about Natalia, that's like the only thing you can't say. What are you talking about?
Super weird criticism of Natalia.
It's weird. Yeah. I'm not going to, if you guys want to criticize ring gear of anyone, that's fine. Don't just make sure you're not only criticizing the women's gear or only criticizing the men's gear. I've been known to criticize gear of all different types of people. And you know what? It's not that weird if you make a logical point about it. But Natalia is in there. She's a good ring hand. She might be like Cesaro, who's on the male side. Like, you can trust them to go in there and do these long matches. They've got credibility, but they're never going to be main eventers, whether we want them to or not. They're just not going to be slotted that way.
Speaking of, did you happen to watch The Voice Versus with Jim Ross last week?
I only saw that trailer that they put up. I didn't watch it.
It was really good. And he said something interesting. They went through basically, I assumed some things off of Wikipedia, and he said if they were true or not. One of them was he was asked if Shelton Benjamin came along as a package deal to get Brock Lesnar. He says, no, they wanted Shelton Benjamin. And then he said, he talked kind of at length. He said, the system failed Shelton Benjamin because it's our job to get a guy like that to the point to where his personality can shine in a main event. And we didn't do that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big thing for a guy who was a huge part of that era to admit.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it definitely plays a part because like you said, I mean, that's Cesaro right now. That's honestly Fandango right now too. Let's not just put it at those guys who have the greatest in-ring capability.
I don't know if it's Fandango right now.
It's Fandango right now. It's
maybe under a different name. I don't think anybody by the name of Fandango is getting over to.
Well, that's part of the point, right? I mean, this guy who's been Johnny Curtis, you can, John Curtis, whatever you want to call him, make another name, but Fandango, that's part of the point. They failed in this system because they're trying to put someone over and not really get the best out of them. Because you look at Fandango, Johnny Curtis in NXT, and there was personality there. We can also talk about Roman Reigns that way, right? They're not getting Roman Reigns' actual, popularity and personality over.
He's been over several times before. We have people asking, where is Fandango? He's working the live events. That's all I can say. He tagged.
He won like a dark match over someone important the other day, and I can't remember. It might have been Tyler Breeze, but it was someone who's actually gotten TV time lately.
I don't think so. He's had a match with Stardust, or maybe he did. Maybe he did this week.
I'm going to find out who he beat, and it's going to be one of those. If it's not Tyler Breeze, it's a name that I remember being a little surprising.
I don't think so. I think he won on some live events with Damian Sandow against Stardust and Tyler Breeze, but I don't think he's had a win in a dark match like since January. I seem to remember him. I think one of the Connor or Victor, one of the others. Either way, while you're looking that up.
Yep.
This show, as always, brought to you by WrestlingInc.com/Onnit. We have switched it from Onnit.com/WrestlingInc to WrestlingInc.com/Onnit. And of course, let me make sure it's the right bottle. Alpha Brain. If you all follow Bailey on Twitter today, you saw her with her breakfast taking Alpha Brain. It is a fantastic supplement. Helps me focus. Helps me stay on task 366 days a year this year. And you know what I can do for you? 10% off. Wow. WrestlingInc.com/Onnit. That's right. That's right. You can also get their great supplements like Shroom Tech, like New Mood, like T Plus that Adam Cole, Triple H, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Steve Austin, DDP, Titus O'Neil. I bet Titus O'Neil on his little vacation taking all kinds of T Plus, getting crazy. And I bet he's using WrestlingInc.com/Onnit to save 10% because he's smart with his money too. He's smart with his money. And if you're smart with your money, you'll go to WrestlingInc.com/Onnit. If you don't like the product, just tell them you don't like it. They'll send you your money back. Also, DDPYoga.com/WrestlingInc. Great program. You can go there, get a great deal on the Max Pack. DDP Yoga has helped me personally, help WWE superstars such as Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, John Cena, even old timers like Stevie Richards, who I've mentioned, showed up on Ring of Honor a couple months ago, had a TV title match against Roderick Strong. All kinds of people. We saw what it did for Scott Hall. We saw what it did for Jake Roberts. Speaking of Jake Roberts, his documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, available on Vudu, PlayStation Network, Google Play, all over the place. Amazon. We have a link in the podcast post. Lots of good stuff there. Fantastic documentary. Also, be sure to check out DDP's yoga workshop the Sunday of WrestleMania in Dallas. Go to ddpyoga.com to his appearance section to check that out. WrestlingInc.com/Onnit. ddpyoga.com/WrestlingInc. And it's funny I mentioned PlayStation Network because PlayStation Network sucked tonight with my stream of Roadblock. It was terrible. We had a lot of people saying that they had issues with their PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 streams. I'm going to have to switch to Chromecast or something like that. Did you have any troubles with your stream?
No, I watched via Apple TV and for a portion of the show on the WWE Network website, and I never had an issue whatsoever. But I saw a few people tweeting out that they were having issues. There were also people tweeting at me when I asked specifically that said they had no issues. So I guess it probably had something to do when you got in, what your internet connection was like, but it was not 100% for everybody. And to answer the burning question, so there are mixed reports from last Tuesday's SmackDown tapings on a dark match between Stardust and Fandango. Some people say Fandango won. Some people say Stardust won. But on the house shows last weekend, Damian Sandow and Fandango defeated Stardust and Tyler Breeze both nights of the house show loop. So Fandango has 2 wins this calendar month in tag team matches. But no, I had no issues with the stream whatsoever. My stream got their portion of On It Alpha Brain before the night because they were up 100%.
Well, ironically, I have to take some new mood after that because it was horrible. I'm gonna have to switch to something else. I mean, I think I have a Roku somewhere. I know I have a Chromecast somewhere, unless I left it at the Columbus Hotel, which I think I may have done. I've got other ways to watch it, and I'm going to have to explore those options. But yeah, I had it on. I have a PS3 downstairs, and it was skipping, so I switched to the PS4. It skipped to, didn't like that. Had a lot of people complaining about that. That's something that either, I don't know if it's a PlayStation thing or if it's a WWE thing, but needs to be fixed within the month, I would think.
Yeah, hopefully. We got the biggest show of all time coming up, so you hope they do really well. You got the biggest show coming up all time in WrestleMania. Also, MLB Network or MLB TV, the MLB Advanced Media, which runs the WWE Network stream and now runs the NHL live streaming. They've had some issues with NHL. They have baseball coming up in high gear, especially that first week of April. I really hope that they have everything straight for WrestleMania, so it doesn't kind of suffer from any type of bandwidth issues. I want to get this tweet out because Tyler has tweeted us both during the show, and he wants to say, I love listening to you guys because you have a great ass voice, bro.
Wait a second.
I'm gonna guess he's referring to you, Sean.
Well, no, you have a great voice for radio. I have a nasally voice. This nose has been broken several times over my life. I've got a nasally voice. I actually thought about getting the surgery, but that would put me out for forever, for weeks. You got to get the nasal passages jackhammered open. But he said a nice ass voice.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Does that mean you fart well?
Right. Is ass voice good? I mean, I don't know. I don't, usually when you preface something with the word ass.
This isn't even the weirdest thing we've talked about on the show this week. We talked about Hulk Hogan's worked penis size versus his shoot penis size. No pun intended on shoot penis size.
I'm jealous of both, really, because his shoot penis size is probably bigger than mine.
I'm sorry.
It's sad.
Sounds like an Indiana problem to me.
It's an Indiana problem. It's, growing up on corn and not eating enough meat as a child. Yeah.
Corn's not really that good for you. We won't get into that.
I love cream corn, though.
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Somebody who ate their corn as a child, Jack Swagger. So here's, and my friend Corey Cropper mentioned this. Chris Jericho as a heel, home country of Canada.
Yep.
Facing a real American.
Yeah.
Weird.
People love Jack Swagger. People love Jack Swagger.
They do. Actually, they really do. I watch these main event matches and these superstars matches.
People love Jack Swagger.
And maybe it's the opening, like, hey, it's the first guy we're seeing tonight type of pop, but it doesn't matter because he puts his hand over his heart. He says, we the people, and everybody says it.
Jack Swagger is dangerously close to becoming one of those guys where when he was first coming up and getting the big push, he was like, he's like a Baron Corbin type or a Sheamus type. Like, this isn't an indie darling that we love, but now he's paid his dues within WWE and people have seen it. So he's starting to now get that, we like you now. You're really one of ours because we followed your entire career and you just keep getting shit on and shit on. He's very close to being that guy, and we'll see if he actually sticks around and becomes something in WWE again. But that Rusev feud, man, I mean, people were all about Jack Swagger. People were all about that Rusev feud. It was one of my favorite feuds of the year when they were, programmed against each other. So I love some Jack Swagger.
To this day, I think that Jack Swagger should have gotten a win in a flag match against Rusev. That way, Rusev's not pinned. He's not submitted. Any jamoke can climb a damn turnbuckle and grab a flag. But for the moment it would have been big. And then, that justifies giving Jack Swagger another match because he wants to pin Rusev. But here we are talking about stuff they should have done right a couple years ago.
I mean, I can understand it. They were trying to, hold off Rusev's big loss to get a new up-and-coming star over, and they did it with John Cena.
Finally, they got John Cena over. It was a long, arduous task, but they finally did it. And luckily, since then, Rusev is still as hot as he's ever been, just as hot as he was during the height of his career. So luckily that everything worked out for WWE.
I'm sure he got a tremendous ovation when he was opening up WWE Atlantic City versus probably, I don't even know, Fandango, I bet. I'm going to go look at some point during the show, and I bet Fandango wrestled Rusev of all people on that Atlantic City show.
Indeed. By the way, people complaining about over advertising. Hey guys, they're the reason we do the show, just so you all know.
I get the over advertising sometimes. Chris Jericho is really funny if you listen to the Talk is Jericho podcast, because he'll try and pretend he's still in the room with the guest and then go on for 5 minutes on an advertisement. Sean didn't go on for 5 minutes about the advertisement. He gave you a reason why not only you should try it, but he's recommending it because he uses it.
Hey, Rob, quiet for a second. I want to talk about On It. So this stuff is great, you guys. If I could liquefy this and bathe in it, I would. And you can only get it at, you can get it at On It, but wrestlinginc.com/onit.
And listen, if you like the shows, and I'm glad you do, I hopefully haven't turned you off too much. If you like the shows, it's a small price to pay. I mean, I like, Better Call Saul, and I have to put up with 12 minutes of commercials every night, and we're doing 2. It's okay. And we wait until the middle of the show and not at the beginning. So we don't, save off the real content until later on. So I'm sorry if you thought it's an advertisement machine, but we got to do what we got to do. What's an advertisement machine, Sean? Do you know? Do you know who's an advertisement machine? Michael Cole. How great was Michael Cole on the show? What is he doing? I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Michael Cole was great on the show, and I thought, and it really is one of those situations where Vince McMahon was not there. When Vince isn't around, these guys can just do their thing and be left alone.
Yeah, sorry about that, by the way, guys. My cord actually pulled out of my microphone. I thought Michael Cole was good. I thought JBL was better than usual. I wouldn't call him good, but I thought it was a vast improvement. Byron Saxton's the same that he's always been, because I don't know that Byron Saxton can be any better in the role that they give him, which is just saying, well, wow, that's cool, and what a fun maneuver, and things like that.
Laughing off JBL when JBL sticks one to him. I mean, has no – luckily he doesn't try to make a comeback, because that would probably make it worse. But, Byron Saxton, I don't like it. I don't like it. JoJo was the ring announcer on this show. So, I mean, Lillian Garcia doesn't work Saturday nights. Where was Tony Schimmel? Who knows? But JoJo was on this show. She was pretty good.
Speaking of Lillian, how old is she? Do you remember the controversy surrounding that?
I want to say she's like 46 or so. She's 49. She's 49.
49.
Looks fantastic.
I can't believe she's 49.
So does Shane. I mean, Shane's up there. He looks fantastic too.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
Undertaker is up there. He does not look fantastic.
Somebody says that's what you get for hushing Rob, Sean. The cord fell out of your computer. Yeah, that's a good point. I shouldn't have done that. That was rude.
Do you think that I'm the likable one on this show? Because I don't think that's true.
Well, I pitch all the stuff. I pitch So
what we do next week, so people don't tune. If it starts to be too stagnant, where people tune out you and they feel, oh, here comes the On It thing. Maybe I just throw it in there. Like I start talking about Sami Zayn to get the people really up. And then I just go into full On. The Sami Zayn match reminded me of On It.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, Sami Zayn's tights have to be a rib. Either on him, by him. That logo on the back, what does that look like?
Oh, it's on purpose to be the mask.
The mask?
Yeah.
It looks like a booty hole.
Oh, no. The S and the Z?
No, on the back? That ain't an S and a Z, my friend.
I guess I don't. I should go look.
Oh, you should go
normally it's
Google
S and
it.
the Z, which looks like the El Generico mask, but
No, the logo, his logo is, that's the S and the Z. But the logo on the back, which I think has something to do with Montreal, somebody told me. But
wait.
Come on.
Oh, is it the Arabic writing?
No, that's on the front of his trunks.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go look at.
Like, I'm not asking you to Google Sami Zayn ass or anything, but
how do you have access to my search history? No, I'll have to look because I thought the S and the Z was on the back, but I will look it up and.
I love Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn. I think he can be something special. He's such a likable person.
He is.
He's fantastic in the ring. He is a genuinely nice human being. Don't know what's up with that logo on the back. Come on, Sammy.
Come on.
How did you approve that? Maybe he's that innocent of a person that he doesn't notice.
No, he doesn't know. Maybe that's as easy as it gets. He just doesn't know. But Sami Zayn Stardust as a match. So you were not a fan. Would you give that under?
Oh, hell no. I didn't like that match. And maybe if Stardust were in a hotter position or something, I probably would have liked it a little more. But it was such and I hate the people that complain about predictability because a lot of times, but we knew Sami Zayn was winning this match and it didn't need to go 10 minutes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's Sami Zayn and Stardust. They went out there. They had it's a good house show match. If you're there, if you're there not expecting the best Sami Zayn match of all time, I think you're okay, happy with it. But you're right. It didn't captivate those people there. And that's really all we can kind of comment on. It just didn't captivate the people in Toronto, which is one of those audiences that you would think would be into almost anything Sami Zayn does, period. But he was on the bottom for a lot of it. Stardust was getting a lot of offense for about 9 minutes in that match, and the people just turned it off. Oh, I'm looking at the logo now. Yes, that is. I'm
not.
Right.
If I'm wrestling Sami Zayn, I am avoiding waist locks at all costs for fear of Photoshop.
That is right on the hold.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Exactly.
That's weird. What is it supposed to be?
It's something in relation to Montreal. Somebody told me because I posted something on Twitter. I wish I remembered who it was and what it was.
Canadian logo?
I don't know. See, I'm not a big hockey guy. I try to be, but the closest team is Columbus. So
the Canadians logo, but like the I don't know what they call it. The Logo de Montreal. I'm going to look this up.
Maybe. But anyway,
Logo de Montreal.
Chris Jericho beat Jack Swagger. I didn't think the match was good, but I thought, whatever. Chris Jericho gets a win on his way to AJ Styles. It's on a special event. Cool. Yep. People like Jack Swagger, so that's fine.
People like Jack Swagger.
Yeah. New Day defeated League of Nations and introduced the Booty-O cereal. Are New Day baby faces now? What's going on? What's happening at WrestleMania?
I think so. I think we're going to get a multi-team match. I don't see a one opponent for them. I see the Dudley Boys. I see the Usos. You can put in Enzo and Cass in there if you don't want to put the lads in there. But I think there's going to be some type
Who are the lads? Oh, the League of Nations.
The League of Nations, yeah. So Wade Barrett of all people, and Wade Barrett and Sheamus are trying to get the lads name over. I
think they'd be a fantastic tag team, really. A full-time.
Sheamus and almost anyone. Sheamus has done some of his best work in tag team matches, so you're right. But yeah, the New Day one. The Booty-O cereal, by the way, is on sale at WWE Shop. It's a real
really?
Just the box, no actual cereal in there. But it is on sale. You can buy a New Day shirt.
What they do had Sami Zayn make it?
What?
Because of his logo.
That was a good joke, Sean.
Yeah.
You're the funny one of the group. You just keep that act up.
Thank you.
But yes, the Booty-O cereal box is real. You can shop for it right now on WWE Shop. It's sold with a New Day shirt. So you're not just ordering a cardboard box. But yeah, that is a real thing. It was debuting tonight, I believe. It added to the WWE Shop tonight.
Yeah. Geez,
that's about the best thing we can say about the match, right?
I think, yeah. Sure.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I love the New Day in the ring. I really like Sheamus and Wade Barrett in the ring, especially when Sheamus isn't doing stand-up comedy. Real good. Hey, if there's one guy that needs to be doing stand-up comedy out of those three, because did Del Rio show up tonight? Where is Del Rio? What's he doing?
He was in Atlantic City.
Did he wrestle?
I believe he wrestled in Atlantic City, but I will try and see if anyone has Atlantic City results yet. I don't know if they're even out there, but
I think
did
we
you know
do.
that did you know what that main event in Atlantic City was scheduled to
Hell
be?
yeah, I did. What scheduled to be the AJ Styles Kevin Owens match?
Kevin Owens, AJ Styles in an Iron Man 30-minute.
30-minute match. Imagine that. That would be fantastic to watch.
That would be absolutely awesome. I agree.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Kalisto did beat Del Rio. For some reason, I feel like I haven't seen Del Rio since like the Civil War era, which isn't necessarily a bad thing these days.
He's been stuck with the lads.
Yeah. But I feel like I hadn't seen him with them, but maybe I was just overlooking him because he doesn't matter right now. But it's like, if there's one guy out of those three in particular, Rusev, Barrett, Sheamus, that shouldn't be a stand-up comedian, it's him. Did you watch WWE Game Night where they played dodgeball?
Oh, God, no.
Tyler Breeze with a thrilling victory. It was all of New Day, and I think, or no, it wasn't. It was New Day, Tyler Breeze, and Sasha Banks against the Social Outcasts and Charlotte. And it was down to Tyler Breeze versus all the other team, and he won. A true underdog story. And Heath Slater hosting games is something that should be on the network. He is a really entertaining guy in that role.
Heath Slater's an entertaining guy. I mean, he was another one that we could put in that Fandango, Roman Reigns group of not letting the personality shine out. But Heath Slater, when he's on TV, he captivates you, whether it's anything. I mean, this guy, your attention goes to him. But he's, again, not a guy who's looked at as a top guy. So they just kind of have him follow, kind of just wasted really, Heath Slater.
People say I'm talking too loud into the microphone. I'm sorry. I'm excited, you guys.
You're not too loud to me, Sean.
I'll talk a little softer. How about that?
The undercard matches, the matches that were dark tonight, the ones not shown on the WWE Network special. Look at this lineup. Mark Henry defeated Randy Rain, who's a local.
What the hell is that?
He's a local competitor.
Still do that, huh?
Yeah, a local competitor in up there in the north. And then Goldust defeated Victor.
Well, I guess he wasn't the victor tonight, was he?
Boop. Oh! I love this teamwork. You got me. You got me. You got me. I said, yep. But yeah, that was basically a storyline to continue R-Truth and Goldust as Goldust was taken down by Victor, and then Connor comes in, and then R-Truth makes his save. What match have we not talked about yet? Is there anything we've skipped on this big show?
I don't think so. Somebody just let me know that Justin Gaethje, I can't pronounce his name, World Series of Fighting versus Foster's up next. I'm going to turn that on my TV because Justin is a slaughterer. So if you all want to see some violence, probably put it on World Series of Fighting right now. I don't think we missed it. I don't think we missed anything. By the way, that's the only good thing World Series of Fighting done, because they're a terrible promotion with formerly terrible people running it that drove people into retirement.
Ken Shamrock and Kimbo Slice failing drug tests.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. So I guess before that, it was announced that Tank Abbott is replacing Ken Shamrock in the match against Dan Severn on next week's wild-ass pay-per-view. I'm going to talk to Dan Severn tomorrow, hopefully, guys. I know that's an interview you all want to hear. But yeah, Kimbo and Ken Shamrock, they didn't say what substance. Texas is a really weird commission, though. So Texas, it might have been for marijuana for both of them. I'm just speculating. Ken Shamrock in pretty good shape. Yeah,
excellent shape. Is Ken Shamrock older or younger than Lillian Garcia?
He's older, but Ken Shamrock in suspicious shape, I'll say. And I like Ken Shamrock, but suspicious.
He is 52. Ken Wayne Sham.
Yeah. But Kimbo, maybe weed, maybe both of them just for weed. But here's the thing with marijuana in Texas. Anywhere else, even I think at the Olympic level, the maximum allowance is 150 nanograms per milliliter of marijuana in your system. Texas, It's 1/3 of that. 1/3 of that, which is unreal. It's unfair. Jessica I actually failed a test there. And another commission was like, well, that's kind of ridiculous. So we're just going to drug test you.
I mean, I would say if you're doing that, you probably shouldn't be doing any of it. It's not legal in the state. So
I don't know. They might not have even been in the state when they did it, is the thing.
That's true.
They can just take fights and then go to that state and then pop for marijuana. And get suspended for however long. There are some places like here in Kentucky, you can pay a fine and they'll just do away with a suspension. When Jessica I failed in Texas, they were just like, oh, well, or whatever commission she fought for next was like, we're just going to drug test you and make sure you're not high as a kite going into the cage. And she passed her test, and that was fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, steroids and fighting, steroids and Bellator. Bellator don't care. I mean, they got their one fight out of Ken Shamrock. They got their one last fight out of Kimbo Slice, and they don't need them again. It's not throwing off plans. Whereas
Kimbo signed a multi-fight deal, multi-year deal, and I think he's going to see it out. Well, they're probably just getting 90 days for this, dude. They're probably not getting long-term suspension.
They're probably not getting a long suspension. My point is, it's not throwing off really long-term plans. You know, it's not a suspension in UFC where you could. Yeah, a title fight might be out of the picture because something happens. You know, Kimbo's, he may fight again, but really they got their one big buy rate out of Kimbo Slice.
Not a buy rate, but ratings. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Viewership. Yes. So they got that out of Kimbo Slice. And I don't really expect much more of them. We got to talk. I don't know. I don't know if you talk much New Japan, but Tetsuya Naito won the New Japan Cup today.
Yes, he did.
They did Tetsuya Naito. And now they've announced Tetsuya Naito going up against Kazuchika Okada at Invasion Attack. It's happening. This Invasion Attack, also the debut of Will Ospreay.
That's going to be good. They need him.
It's a good show. And Meng's kids are together again.
That's true. And Tama used the shit. Carl Anderson's finish, right?
Stun gun.
Did I remember that right?
Yeah,
I like that. I love that.
Hey, Tama Tonga making the rise up. Camacho now, former WWE superstar Camacho, who I believe is going by the name Micah, something like that.
Micah, yeah.
Tonga.
So my one regret for Camacho in WWE, I really wanted he and Hunico, whatever, during a Royal Rumble, and the bike was there. I wanted them to ride the bike outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And I wanted Kofi Kingston to land on it and like do bunny hops and stuff around the ring and then get back in the ring, save himself.
There were a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, WWE is a company full of missed opportunities, right? It's also a company full of, opportunities that show up that they do take advantage of. Daniel Bryan, biggest example. So a lot of missed opportunities there with Camacho, but hey, Tama Tonga, Micah Tonga, tag team now in New Japan. So it's loaded. You got Will Ospreay and Kushida coming up in April 10th. You got the tag titles with Honma and Makabe going up against Micah and Tama Tonga. The world title match with Okada and Naito. And then there's one more. Oh, yeah, Katsuyori Shibata and Satoshi Kojima. So the old man, can he go after the Never title? So it's a big show coming up.
I was going to ask a couple of things because I didn't watch the show. And you're a little more hip to New Japan than I, even though I cover it quite a bit. Does that mean Micah is in the Bullet Club now? Is that the thing?
He is the newest Bullet Club member.
How long do you think the Bullet Club lasts? Because let's be real, at least recently, AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, part of that. Now I think that Kenny Omega is plenty talented enough, and the Young Bucks are plenty talented enough to take over that. But it seems like they want to do their own thing, and you know. And that's the biggest reason. I like Tama Tonga. I think Bad Luck Fale is fine. Takahashi, I don't feel either way. But it's hard to run the Bullet Club with those guys.
Yeah, you can still sell the merchandise. When the merchandise stops selling, that's when it'll fade out. But you're right. Carl Anderson leaving was really the big key to the possible, fall of the Bullet Club as far as popularity goes in New Japan. If WWE is still on a super hiring kick come January of next year, I could see the Young Bucks maybe moving on. I can see Kenny Omega possibly getting looked at. Who knows what's going to happen? I wouldn't have thought AJ Styles was going to get picked up by WWE this year. So who knows what's going to happen next year? But you got Kenny Omega out there doing interviews talking about how he wants to make his own thing with the Young Bucks. They go by the Elite. They're still the Bullet Club, the Elite, but I could see them kind of branching off. I can see if this tag title goes for the Tongas, I can see them branching off. I can see Bad Luck Fale just becoming maybe the backup to Yujiro and they branch off. It really could be a couple of, no dissension. No one fights within each other. They just branch off and go their separate ways, and the Bullet Club just kind of disappears. I don't see it happening soon, but it looks like at some point it's going to happen.
One more New Japan question, and we'll talk about a little something else. What do you think the finals should have been? I would have liked to have seen Elgin get that win over Goto, because Goto is really stale to me. And I don't know. It seemed like the crowd almost wanted that to happen too. But from what I watch very little. But I did see that, and that speaks volumes. And good for Big Mike going over to Japan and getting over. And now he's signed to a deal.
Yeah, hat tip to Joe Lanza for creating the Big Mike nickname, and it's catching on everywhere. But the people like Michael Elgin. They do. They like Michael Elgin over there. So it's good on him. He's got the support of Hiroshi Tanahashi. I mean, they're a semi-regular tag team now. So people like Michael Elgin. I don't quite know. I mean, Hiroki Goto, it's the story that he's in where he gets so close. Will he be broken by the fact that he can't win the big one anymore, that he gets so close and then it gets taken away? I mean, it's kind of like Okada's storyline a couple of years ago where he was on the brink of being broken. Then he fought back to finally beat Hiroshi Tanahashi at the Dome. So what they're doing with Goto seems to make sense. It makes sense that he gets to the finals. Tetsuya Naito, he was probably someone that should have been seen as the eventual winner of this tournament. I know a lot of people picked him, and good on them. They stuck with what was somewhat predictable, but also, necessary. I did not think he was going to go up in the world title picture right now. I thought that was going to happen later on in the year, eventually getting the dome shot. Now, if he gets the dome shot in 2017, it's going to be a rematch of some kind. I thought Satoshi Kojima was going to win this tournament. I really did. I thought they were just going to go through April because they have big matches everywhere else. I thought it was just going to be Okada getting a quick win, not a quick win, but an easier win over Satoshi Kojima. And you would have that story where Kojima goes at his older age, still having it, going up against Okada. Because remember, Kota Ibushi was the winner of this tournament last year. He got the title shot, and no one on earth thought Kota Ibushi was going to become the world champion. Sometimes they do this. Win the big tournament, so that's your big win, and then lose the title match because you just already got your big win. You don't need to win the title. I thought Kojima was going to do it. Naito got it. I don't see Naito winning the title, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
So some kind of big news, interesting news, I guess, because nobody really cares about either one of them, which shows you the sad state of affairs. Ken Anderson, fired from TNA during the Bethlehem tapings.
Yeah.
Was messed up.
Yep.
But
was high in the ring.
Okay, so was Jeff Hardy in a pay-per-view main event.
Right, but they like Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy's a big name, and they wanted to get rid of Ken Anderson, and this was their chance.
Exactly. Incredible double standard. We see it in WWE a lot. Vince McMahon dropping the F-bomb on TV, live TV. Brad Maddox fired for saying pricks
dropping
in a dark segment.
Flipping fans off live on TV. Vince McMahon, of course. And yeah, Brad Maddox gets fired for saying prick. Titus O'Neil gets suspended for, it wanting ladies first. I mean, there's a lot of different double standards. You can't.
Meanwhile, Vince McMahon used to shoot double legs on his talent to take them down. Super weird stuff. Ken Anderson fired. He's not coming back to WWE, not with those problems. Probably wasn't going to be anyway.
They don't want him.
Probably didn't have a chance anyway.
10 years from now,
I doubt that.
Hall of Fame, though. 10 years from now, he's going in the Hall of Fame.
He might be. Who knows? But he's 40 years old, just turned 40. I don't see New Japan wanting him.
Oh, he will never be a full-time wrestler again. He's going to be one of these wrestlers who goes out and does the one-shots at different companies who still think he has name value. He is done as a full-time performer in any of the top three. He's done.
Also, while we're on the subject of TNA, I think they and WWE got together and conspired and said, let's make the two shittiest pro wrestling websites in the history of the business.
They're bad. WWE's website is not easy.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Their old website was just fine. Yeah. TNA's old website, just fine. Global Force Wrestling has a better website than these two, and that is not a compliment in any way.
Listen, I get why TNA changed their site, because their site was never updated. I mean, they didn't have anyone. It was as if Bob Ryder, who was, had some free time on a Friday, would eventually go in and update the website. It was just never updated. And now this new website at least is easier to update. Very simple. They don't have to do too much to it. But the WWE has no excuse. I guess they want to just enhance white space on the page. They want to enhance the ease of just seeing it on mobile. I don't get it because it does not look good on desktop whatsoever.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It looks okay on mobile. And I know the wave is going to ease of use on mobile because people are viewing websites from the iPhones, from their
But I
Android
mean,
phones.
that's what mobile versions of sites are for.
Oh, I know. And the mobile version of the WWE.com website wasn't that bad. I mean, hell, you could push them towards your app to use the mobile version of the website. But they went with this. It's almost as if you're now creating websites for mobile and then trying to rework it for desktop versus the other way around. Because the WWE website, if you're trying to look at photos of events, I mean, it's a hassle to go and try and find photos of events.
Oh God, like checking out their upcoming cards and ticketing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. You can't easily find shows that are 3 weeks out. You have to keep hitting more until you finally get there. It's bad.
So let's see. Yeah, somebody says Kennedy will find a home in ROH. No, he won't.
No, he won't. No, he absolutely will not.
Absolutely not. Somebody is calling me a pothead and says that's not good for On It. Buddy, Joe Rogan is the biggest pusher of On It. And also, I'm not a pothead, but you may want to have a discussion with him about that.
Priority, Sean. Priority. When someone calls you a pothead, don't go towards, well, Joe Rogan, who's also a pothead, does this stuff. No, defend yourself.
He's the guy behind. He's one of the guys behind it. Come on now. Yeah, that is not one of their concerns and not an issue with myself.
Sean, are you going to vote on Tuesday?
Am I able to vote on Tuesday here?
Oh no, you already had because you live in Kentucky. That's right. For some reason I was thinking Ohio there for 1 second, but you live in Kentucky. So your primary already happened. Did you vote?
No. Our primaries haven't happened yet.
Kentucky's primary?
No, I don't believe so. Well, that was the Republican primary. I don't think I can vote because
out of themselves.
I'm an independent. Am I allowed to vote in primaries if I'm an independent, or is it the other one that I came from?
Kentucky might have been closed. You're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were closed. I like to keep things down the middle. So let me get to a couple of questions here before we go. Somebody said fans were simply assuming that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to be a part of this year's WrestleMania since it was going to be in Texas. Is the WWE keeping Austin's role in WrestleMania a secret until the event itself? I don't think it'll be any major thing. He'll just show up.
Right. It's not so much that it's a secret. It's just they don't have to release it because it's not that big of a deal. Now, WrestleMania 30 was a fun secret. Like you knew they were going to be around that show. You just didn't know what they were going to do. And it was a cool moment with The Rock and Austin and Hogan. They can't replicate that this year. They can't do Rock, Austin, and I don't even know, Shawn Michaels comes out and they do that same segment. Same for The Rock. They've announced that The Rock's going to be there, but these guys aren't having important roles on the show. So why even have to announce them? What are you going to announce that? Hey, Steve Austin's going to come down and talk and plug his podcast. Hooray. No, it's not so much a secret. It's just they're going to be up on the show. And I don't think too many people were actually assuming that he was going to wrestle on the show. That time is long gone. I mean, we're talking 2003 being his last match. It's over if you have hope that Steve Austin's ever going to wrestle again.
So everybody accusing me of being stoned tonight. What's up with that? That's weird. Like somebody said, Sappy doesn't look stoned at all in that thumb. Somebody needs to check out the On It label. Guys, I promise I'm not. What the hell? I had a few drinks last night. I have never once partaken in the drugs, but I had a few drinks last night. It's amazing that I am up and able to do this show tonight with all the bright lights. Because I'm not going to lie, I had quite a few. I've actually never drank in my life.
I held out for a long time, but sometimes I do it every once in a while. But no, that's good, Sean. You stay on the straight and narrow.
It's just a habit. It's a habit I couldn't afford when I was younger, and I never ended up picking it up. I mean, no disrespect to those who do.
You be a good little boy.
Somebody said, seemed like WWE or NXT's tag team match was more exciting than the WWE tag match tonight. Thoughts, comments? Oh, hell yeah, it was.
Oh, hell yeah. No, the Revival's great. I'm really looking for go in after watching that match with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. And what do you think you're going to expect when you get in there with Chad Gable and Jason Jordan? What just happened on World Series of Fighting?
Gosh, just some guy or Foster just collapsed, but even a little more breathtaking than that, I think Justin Gaethje, I can't pronounce his name, did a backflip, or maybe it was the other way around. I don't know. I can't tell right now, but he did a backflip off the cage and almost ate it hard.
It sounds
Yeah,
pretty
it was
exciting.
Justin Gaethje. Yeah, that was terrifying.
It sounds pretty exciting. But overall, Roadblock 1 to 10, Sean.
1 to 10 Roadblock. Ooh, I'm gonna give it a 6, a passing grade on a scale of 10, a 6.
6? No,
like a 6.0, barely.
It was a good show. I mean, the wrestling was fun. I mean, the Triple H Dean Ambrose match was excellent. So I'm giving it a 7 based on the Triple H Dean Ambrose. A little wonky in spots because they tried to be a little too clever, but to me, the show was anything you could have hoped for. And if you were watching it expecting a Dean Ambrose title change, I mean, I'm sorry. It just was never, ever, ever going to happen. And I apologize if you were upset by that. See a lot of people in the chat giving it anywhere from a 3 to a 6. So basically middle of the road, right? Is kind of where it was.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's going to be interesting to see how WWE treats these episodes of Raw and SmackDown going towards WrestleMania. By the way, guys, we will be back Monday night after Raw, Wednesday night at 10 to give you time to watch NXT and Lucha Underground. Our Wednesday show is our non-Raw show, so Ring of Honor, TNA, NXT, Lucha Underground, stuff like that. Thursday night, we get back onto the wrestling news, rumors, things like that. We'll talk a little bit about SmackDown. A lot of it's questions that you want answered. Sometimes if we have like exclusive news, we'll break it on the Thursday night show. But yeah, any parting words for the audience, Rob?
No, I'm glad I got a chance to come on here on a special edition of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I will be back on Wednesday and Thursday because they do not let me interact with Vince Russo. I'm still a young boy. So
it took me, I was surprised that they let me interact with Vince Russo. And I'll say this, I have praised Vince Russo's work on Wrestling Inc. And I was one of those people who was against everything. I would just see a headline with Russo and automatically thumbs down. He does very good work on our show. Nuclear Heat is more of Vince Russo, like Unchained. Monday is a very character like analyzing show. We have a guy who worked for WWE Creative. We have a guy who has ran a wrestling website for 18 years, and we have some jabroni from between Cincinnati and Lexington who gets to leech off of them. So it's more of a character-driven booking analysis show because we have Vince on there, but much different than you'll see him at other elsewhere. And I was a little concerned about that at first because you never know what you'll get with Vince Russo if you don't do a show with him first. I've been pleasantly surprised with Vince Russo. And to be honest, guys, he's just a good dude. He is a good dude. I don't always agree with what he says.
Whatever you may think about him, whatever you may think about when he was in charge of creative in TNA or had any type of power whatsoever, the guy's good on audio. I mean, you may not like what he says. You may like what he says. The guy's good on audio, and
people remix his shows now, and they send him to me reaction.
No, I will admit, as being the best podcaster in the game right now, I can tell what's good and what's not. And Vince Russo is good. Wow, the ego on me. Whew. Oh boy.
But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out the Wednesday show, definitely check it out. Even if you're not into non-Raw stuff, maybe that's how you can get into something non-Raw. If you're tired of Raw, we're talking about everything else. We'll talk about TNA. We'll talk about their fantastic website. We'll talk about Ring of Honor, New Japan, NXT. We do a lot of NXT talk on there. So, yeah. Also, guys, check out WrestlingInc.com/onit and DDPYoga.com/WrestlingInc. Again, WrestlingInc.com/onit. Save 10%. DDPYoga.com/WrestlingInc. Get a good deal on the Max Pack. Somebody says Russo versus Sean on it on a pole match. I love my on it too much. There's no way that Vince Russo wins that match.
There's no way. No way. Kill him.
No way.
Dominant. Beat him into submission. Congratulations. The University of North Carolina won the ACC tournament tonight. And visit me on Twitter.
Well, hey, Kentucky is going to tie UNLV's record for consecutive games with a 3-point shot made tomorrow.
Well,
when they win the championship. So,
on one condition, Sean. They have to make a 3-pointer.
Yes, they do, which they have done for 972 consecutive games.
Yeah, so they got to make one. That would be the game for them to not make one. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, big day of basketball tomorrow. No wrestling. It's weird to be done with the wrestling weekend on a Saturday, right?
No MMA, no real big MMA this weekend either. It felt like kind of an off weekend, but it's not.
Take a break, everybody. Take a break. And by the way, Jay Lethal still your Ring of Honor World Champion.
There you go, guys. On it. WrestlingInc.com/on it. DDPYoga.com/WrestlingInc. We are out.
Bye.